Hi, I'm Stephen Green and welcome back to these video series on improving your mental health. And this video is number 3 of 12. So if you haven't seen the other ones, I'd suggest you start from the beginning, go back to number 1 and work your way through. So this is number 3 and this is removing the pain. So there's a couple of things that we do which we make things harder for ourselves. So we create pain within our bodies by focusing on particular things. So there's 3 things I want to touch on today, and the first one is blame. So blaming ourselves. Most people are really bad for this. We're very quick to criticize ourselves and blame ourselves for things that we've done, so certain decisions that we've made. And there's absolutely nothing at all that you can do about a previous decision. You can't change that old result, but what you can do is you can put things right, you can move forward, and you can use that as a learning point and thinking that I'm not going to do that anymore. I don't want to be that person anymore, or I don't want to behave that particular way anymore. And just make a decision that that's going to change. So blaming yourself for something you've done and holding all that pain is not good for you. And somebody who recently took their lives, the main reason that they were in so much pain was for blame for themselves, and some of it was so trivial. Some of it was things that it was minor compared to the things that that person left behind, a partner and kids, and it's such a shame when someone's got that much focus on something that they've done in the past and they can't let that go. So let go of that pain. Do not keep blaming yourself. If you've made a mistake, you've made a fucking mistake. Just get on with it. I've made loads of mistakes in my life. There's loads of things that, looking back now, would I do things differently? Yes, of course I would. But we're only acting at the best we can with the quality of thinking at the time, or how well we deal with stress and pressure. So we're controlled by our emotions, and if at the time you're feeling too much pressure, then you're going to do certain things. I'm sure you'd agree we've all made decisions in haste, or when we've been angry or frustrated and regretted them at a later date. And that's no different when you're under pressure. You might not be angry, you might not be frustrated, but you may be feeling under pressure, and that can create us to make decisions as well that we might end up making decisions that weren't the best ones. But to hold on to them for a lifetime is not good. And blaming other people, so don't blame other people for your lack of not being where you are. And I see this a lot. People have a lot of pain based around envy or jealousy, looking at other people and their results, and because you're not somewhere, or blaming people like your parents or your teachers or the area that you live in, again, for lack of opportunities. And it's fucking bullshit, because this is a point that I make quite often. I'm from an area of Teesside where we've got the highest suicide rate in the UK. The steelworks have closed. We're told that there's no opportunities at all. And here I am in that area, and I've built up a portfolio of £6 million. So it's never a lack of opportunities. There's never a lack of resources. There's only a lack of being unresourceful. And I'm fucking proof of that. And there's nothing special about me. I got no school grades at school. My best grade was a D. I was brought up in a council house. I was the smallest kid in the year. So I had all of these things going against me, but it hasn't stopped me from getting results. It hasn't stopped me from getting to where I want to be. So don't blame yourself and don't blame other people. Just take ownership for where you are right now and understand you can make a decision a day and move forward. The second thing I want to talk about with pain is judgment. So judgment of others. If you're constantly judging other people, whether that's you need to be like them, or you're looking at their lives on Facebook, or you're judging them in a way of why did they do this, or they shouldn't do that, or that's not the way to behave, you're only judging people based off your current beliefs and your current values. So they have every one of us have a completely different set of beliefs and values. There's not two people the same in the whole of the world. So you're going to see things differently. And I used to be a very judgmental person, and it wasn't until I let that go and I stopped judging people for what they were doing, because at the end of the day, we all have our own individual lives and we're all walking our own path. So I've stopped judging people, stopped needing to make comment on it, because when you make comment on things like that, you're just spreading shit, and you're in that same state that, so if you feel anger for someone and you're expressing that to somebody else, so you're talking to a third person about that person, you're having to be in that state to express that. You're coming from a place of frustration and envy or anger, whatever that is, a place of fear, by talking into that. So just let things go. I tend not to judge now, and I just see things, and it might not be how I would run my life, but I've stopped talking about it. I've stopped saying, oh, have you seen what so-and-so's doing? Did you see what they were doing on Facebook? Or I just don't need to make comment anymore. I just let things go. And what I've found since doing that is it takes a lot of shit from offers. And fear of you being judged by other people, this is the number one thing that absolutely kills success, is people fearing about being judged by other people. So what does so-and-so think? Why haven't they answered my messages? They must think this about me. And we have all this shit that like goes through our heads, and it just doesn't serve us at all. So one thing I genuinely don't care about is being judged. And there's a couple of examples on this that I want to talk about, like, i.e. this tracksuit top I've got here. I've had this tracksuit top for about 7 years, and I don't give a fuck about being judged. So people might have seen pictures of me in this from years ago. And sometimes I love my smart clothes. I do wear expensive things, and I do like that when I'm in that particular mood. But then there's also clothes that I have that are 20 years old, and I really don't care. I do it for me now. So I've learned to do the things that serve me rather than for other people. So I'm not bothered about being judged. I do what I do. There'll be people that dislike this video. There'll be people that think bullshit things it's done for alternative motives and things like that. I really don't care. It goes over my head, and you need to do the same thing. Stop caring what people think, because what someone thinks about you is none of your business. Let them think that. They're still going to think it anyway, so there's no point you thinking what they're thinking about you. Just fucking let it go. And the last thing is focusing on problems. Now, it's easy to get sucked into this, and this is something that we all do, and I could have done this morning. So these video series, I'd intended to release one each week, and I'm a bit behind with this third one because I've just been snowed under with other things and the big project that I've got going on, and lots of work and things like that, and it's been put on the back burner. And this morning I knew I needed to get this video done, and the area that I wanted to work in, the kids are over that area this morning. The chair that I like to use, I couldn't unfold it, and I was thinking, fucking hell, I'll just leave it till later on. But that would be focusing on the problem, and it's easy to do that. What you've got to be able to do is shift and start focusing on the solution, because you're either focused on one or two things. You're either focused on the problem or you're focused on the solution. And the quicker you can get your mindset out of the problem and into the solution, that's when things will start to, things will move on and you'll get progress. Albert Einstein said, we can't solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created them. Can't solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created them. That means the problems that we experience, we created them with that current level of thinking. And in order to get past that problem, we need to improve our thinking. So if that's like a lack of finance, there's a level of thinking or beliefs that have got you in a position where you're not generating enough income, for example, or you're not in a position that you need to be in work, and maybe that's down to a lack of education, or maybe it's a lack of attitude of not doing something above and beyond, and someone else took a position, or you've been left behind, or maybe it's something within your fitness and health. So it could be literally any part of your life, but you need to focus on the solution. Don't stop thinking of why things have actually gone wrong and just going, this is shit, that's shit. Because I used to do that as well. If things were going wrong in my life, I would just focus and think, fucking hell, this has gone wrong, or that's gone wrong. And it wasn't until I was able to go, okay, these things have fucking gone wrong. And right now I'm not in the place I want to be. So where is it I'd rather be instead? And once you start thinking of where you would rather be instead, and then looking at how do I work towards that, systematically working towards where you need to go, you'll leave the problem behind, you'll get bigger than the problem, and you'll become a bigger person for that. So the biggest thing that with setting goals is it's not about the things that you achieve, it's the person that you become on pursuit of setting those goals. And I can absolutely tell you, if you can get your focus off your problem and start looking at where you'd rather be instead and how you're going to get there, then you will feel so much better, because progress equals happiness. We feel good when we're progressing. And when we're regressing or stuck in a problem, tends to be when we feel shit or overwhelmed. And all of this comes down to a skill set. So the fact that I've got like 40, 50 members of staff and subcontractors on site most days, and I've got multiple businesses, but I no longer feel stress because I'm able to extract from that. Now, occasionally, will something happen and I think, fucking hell, like this has happened or that's happened? I do. And occasionally I do get sucked in, but as quickly as possible, I'll look and I'll go, right, okay, that's what's happened. How do I extract myself from it? This is what's happened. Okay, it's not great where I am right now. Where would I rather be instead? And what action do I need to take? And the second you do that, there's a shift in your biology. The chemistry within your body, when you make a decision like that to go, okay, the fucking problem's the problem, it's happened, I can do fuck all about it, but here's where I'd rather be instead, and this is the action that I'm going to take. So that's it for today on this particular message. So blame, not blaming yourself and blaming other people, just let shit go. Judgment, stop judging yourself of all the things that you've done or haven't done. Just move forward and stop judging other people as well, because again, that doesn't serve you. The more you can free yourself from these, the more you'll free yourself from pain. And lastly, focus on the solution rather than the problem. So that's it for today's video. If you haven't seen the other ones, go back. There's videos 1 and 2. Absolutely subscribe to this channel now so you can see the rest of the videos. I'm constantly putting out free content. It's content to help you to develop. It's stuff that I've invested hundreds of thousands of pounds into my personal growth to get to this level, to get to having this mindset that I have right now. And it hasn't always been that way. It's a skill set. I've learned it. And that's why I know if someone can go from having PTSD and having anger problems and all of the shit that I used to have to get to where I am now, then you can do exactly the same as well. I absolutely promise you that. So subscribe to the channel. If you know somebody who'd benefit from this video, like it, share it, tag them in the post, ask a question in the comments below, and I'll get back to you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which will be number 4 or 12. Take care. Thank you, Stephen.